All right, so let's do a quick little review of the first part. Okay, so we'll take a couple of minutes reviewing what we worked on and getting that up to speed. So you're gonna first start with your F chord. All right, pinky out to 5. The pattern that we're using, G and A. Okay, so I like to teach in layers, right? So the main pattern, the picking pattern we're gonna start with is GA. I've been dealing with this pattern a lot, even in the other classes, okay? So GA together, E with the index, C with the thumb. All right? Now, all our goal is match this pattern, master it, get familiar with it. And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna take away from it. All right? Okay, so okay, now go ahead with your F. Now we're gonna start. Okay, so from F to 5, stretch your fingers, G and A, index on E, and repeat on the 3rd fret, open, 5, and then back to C. Don't need to do the E on that one, okay? Now, as you get better with it, you can add the whole pattern, yeah, putting it all back in, all right? You can also take away, all right? So you guys can kind of hear the pattern is still there, right? I'm just removing a string that I'm plucking here and there. Now, I like teaching like this because I want you guys also to start learning how to be creative and use your own ears. Okay, so I come from a place where I think there's no right or wrong. All right, yes, it might not be exactly like the artist, but that's okay, right? It's all about having fun and enjoying it. But the goal for me is not that you guys learn songs, but you guys learn techniques and skills that you can apply everywhere. Okay, so let's try that again. Reviewing, open, pattern. Again, full pattern. Okay, now the next one. And again, this is a review, right? So now we're still holding our F. We are going to add our ring finger on the E string, 3rd fret. Now we're gonna pluck our G and our E together. Okay, pinky out to 5, and then straight to F. Okay, try that again. Now make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Make sure everything is loosey-goosey. You want your fingers to be firm but not stiff. Do not press hard with your thumb. All right, think pinch. Don't think pull and press. All right, okay, let's try that again. Okay, F, E3, 5, F, drop. Okay, so now you're gonna move it into a D minor position. All right, so in the previous, all I did is here. Okay, so it's literally the same thing. So what we want to do is we want to make sure our fingers are moving together. So instead of working super hard, you can either drop it or you can literally lay it down. Okay. And the question is, why not play an open A string? Yeah. And the answer is you can, right? You know what I mean? It matches. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So, but the way I'm teaching it is purely for um developmenting developmental purposes, like to develop your reaching. But Rolf brings up a great point. If it's very difficult to reach, there's nothing wrong with modifying. So play the A string instead, because it does meet the note that you have, yeah, that you're trying to reach. And so that's another one. So if the whole reaching and stretching and learning to discipline your hand becomes a little bit difficult for whatever reason, some of us have arthritis, some of us have what do you call that, young age syndrome, where our hands are just lazy, you know what I mean? um
Carpal tunnel.
Oh, carpal tunnel. That's another one, right? So these are real issues, yeah. And so Rolf brings up a fantastic point. It's totally okay to modify what you're doing. Okay. So if that helps you, definitely go with that. Yeah. But that's a great question. If you cannot stretch or if you're having difficulty, it's always okay to supplement the note with a different note. Yeah. As long as it's an A, it's going to work. Yeah. Okay. But that was a great point. Thank you, Ralph. And that was a fantastic one. And again, a lot of people, we all go through that. Yeah. But if your heart is set on becoming really good with your hands, then continue doing it the way we're doing it. Okay. Okay, here we go. Now we're gonna go to that A7. So it's a chord, A7, but C1. So you're going to repeat that, all right? So starting, and again, this is still the review. F. Okay, so I'm dropping it into a D minor chord. Just makes it easier. Okay, plucking that C string. I'm going to go ahead and put my ring finger back on 3. Okay, now C1. Okay. All right. So that's that open A that Ralph was talking about. Okay. So instead of stretching here, you can just do this. Okay. So again, finishing up that last line that we worked on. Open 3A. All right. But those of us who are stretching, continue to 5E.
You were calling out the notes we were playing with our fingers,
Yeah.
and I haven't mastered that yet.
Okay.
So I need you to show me. I've got the first section of that. The second one I think I know, and then when you went into the third one, I got lost.
Oh,
As
okay.
far as where you're putting your fingers and in what fret.
Right.
Just real
So
slow, show me. So it's on the video and I can
yeah.
practice it.
Yeah, definitely. So on this section right here, so we just finished this line, right? Right.
Okay.
So just for those two, just the G and the E. Okay, we're gonna pluck it. All right, out to 5. Drop to the D minor. Very good. Do it again.
So are you plucking the strings together
Mm-hmm.
or separately? Or
Nope,
doing
together.
both? Together and then separately?
Yeah, not separately, together.
Together.
So
Okay.
that's just remember the pattern that we talked about prior, right? So it's the 2, yeah. So we're moving from our GA together, and then we're moving to our GE together. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Now it does sound a little bit different if you have a high G. Yeah. So I'm using a low G, right? So sometimes people say, "Oh, it doesn't sound as great," right? So if you don't like the sound, then all you have to do is simply not pluck the G. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. All right. So that's a modification. Remember now, our goal is to learn the whole pattern, which is 2-1-1. Yeah, with the finger picking. Now, modify it yourself if you like it better to simply remove a chord. Now, in this case, maybe I have a high G and I don't like it. So instead of doing G, E together, I'm just going to do E by itself. Okay.
Ah, and I can see it really well what you're doing. That's
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah. All right. So now for the tail end. Okay, let's go ahead and get this going. Now we just did the bum 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 bum. Okay, so open 3-5 or A. Now, this is the tail end that we're gonna work on. All right. C13 is probably one of my very favorite chords. Even if you have a high G, I mean, I like the way it sounds. It's totally cool. All right. So a C13 is one of my favorite chords. All right. It's probably one of the most Hawaiian sounding chords, especially when you play that style of music. It's really light, open, airy, but full. Yeah. Vibrant. So you're going to just cover your G string, 3rd fret, okay, with your ring finger. All right. Now I'm going to tell you why we're going to use our ring finger. For one, mechanically, it just makes sense. 3rd finger, 3rd fret, right? But when it comes to our picking, our movements, all right, you guys are going to hammer 2 and 3. Or you can slide. Okay? Whichever one feels best to you. All right? Yeah, I want to kind of leave it open for you guys. I personally, I like this feeling. Plus, I like the way it sounds, okay? Now, you're going to hammer and pull the C7. All right? Okay? Here we go. With your thumb on the G. Pluck. Hammer and pull. Okay? It's kind of a weird feeling, but you also got to get used to it. So if you notice, because I do things slower right now, like it's a little bit difficult for me, right? But if I'm going fast, I'm going to use the A string with my ring finger. So that way I don't get tangled with the E string. Got it? So I'm going to do it slowly again. Okay, so that hammer and that pull, you're pressing it so hard that when you pull the string down, it makes a sound. You can hear that hammer and pull. Okay. Okay, so now our next note in this ending. All right, so let's review briefly. All right, that ring finger is going to land on E3. Okay, now you could bend it if you want. It's kind of cool. This is another thing that we like to do in Hawaiian music. If you're playing in the key of, again, any key, I can do it even in here, right? So this is the key of F. All right, And that's exactly what we're doing now in the F chord. Okay, so let's go back to that. So hammer, pull, on E is where we end, and then open, back to F. All right, so let's do that all together slowly. Plucking from the G, 2, 3, A string, hammer, pull, E3, open E, plucking the G and the E on the F. There you go. Now you can actually use this for intros as well. Okay. All right. So this line is very, very popular in Hawaiian music. Okay. Okay. So let's try this again. We're going to go from our open G. 1, 2, go slow. Open A, E, open F. All right, so now we're gonna do the picking in its entirety. All right, so the whole part that we learned prior to in the last few sessions, as well as what we learned today. Take your time with it, go slow. As you get better, then you speed it up. Okay, it's not a race, right? So I want you guys to focus more on feeling. Yeah, I want it to feel authentic in Hawaiian. Okay, so make sure you guys relax. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Again. Okay, moving up, G and E. 1, 2, ready, and. F. Okay, next line, ready, and. Very good. Back to your F, G and E. Open. 3. Back to 5. Now here's the ending line. Ready? Open G, hammer, and 3. Ready, go. Very good. Pulling the A string, ready, and. Landing on E. Open E. Back to F, G, and E. Very good. Okay, now when we put it all together, this is our goal. 1, 2, ready, and. Okay, so again, the pattern will add and take away later. Get the core pieces. Okay, all right. Other than that, boom, you guys did amazing.